Okay, we're in Acts chapter 21, beginning at verse 15. Paul is just about to finish out his third missionary journey. On his way back to Jerusalem to report to the apostles and the elders. He's also bringing funds back to help those that are stressed and in difficulty and in need of help. And he is going to encounter a difficulty that the Jerusalem church has been plagued with, because the Jewish Christians were saying that Paul was trying to eliminate all of their Jewish traditions and everything. Quite honestly, I don't totally understand everything that takes place here, but God used it to create what he wanted in getting Paul to go to Rome and preach the gospel in Rome. And so he gets there, and when he starts giving his report to the elders, one of the things that we talked about and we're going to make our questions about tonight was that he gave all the credit to God. He was totally humble. In verse 19, it says, "And after he had greeted them," that's the elders, "he began to relate to them one by one the things which God had done among the Gentiles through his ministry." He was saying that he was the tool, but God was the power. That's a very important issue for anybody that's doing anything in the kingdom of God. We're simply the tool or the instrument, but it's not by our power. It's always by his power and his ability that spiritual things, eternal things are done. And so in the questions tonight, you're going to find that we're talking about the Christian and humility. What does it take to be a humble person for God? And I think as you read through the scriptures and you discuss them tonight, you're going to find it a very important aspect of how we live out our Christian life. And then notice that he was also willing to do whatever it took to bring peace between the Jewish Christians and the Gentile Christians. And there was a very serious breach between the two groups, and the apostles had already said that the Gentiles didn't have to obey the Jewish law, and that was creating some conflict, and they wanted to find a way to kind of soften all that. And so they asked Paul if he would pay for 4 men who were going through a Jewish vow, and that he himself would do the same thing. And he was more than willing to do it. It wasn't a matter of biblical truth. It was more a matter of a tradition that he was willing to go through if it was going to help to bring peace. And so I hope that that's understandable what was going on. But the last thing that we see from the text was his willingness to obey his spiritual authorities. Now, Paul was quite a man of God. You know that. And you know that he established more churches than anybody else in his generation, maybe in every generation. And he brought thousands of people into a relationship with Jesus Christ. And he could have very easily stood on his own feet and said, you know what, I don't think I need to go through that. I don't think I need to do that. I can do this my own way. I'm going to do it my own way. But he was willing to submit himself to his spiritual authorities. He placed himself underneath those people that God placed him under, and he was willing to obey the elders there at the Jerusalem church in order to bring about the will of God. As you go through your questions tonight, make sure you read the scriptures that go along with the questions about practicing humility, And I hope and pray that you have a wonderful time of fellowship together. God bless. We'll see you Sunday.